Hey guys, Indy here with Ultimate Tool Reviews. Well, if you haven't heard of the new brand called Flex Power Tools, they came out about a year and a half ago or so, and they're now available at Lowe's. They're actually owned by the brand called Chevron. If you didn't know Chevron, they make Cobalt tools for Lowe's. They also make the Ego brand of tools at Lowe's, and they've been a really well-known brand now for quite a while. Now, the brand actually Flex Power Tools has been out for quite a while, but not in the US. They're known for kind of more of automotive style, like things like polishers and things like that, and grinders. Elsewhere in the world, not really too heavily known here in the U.S. But if we move into some of the new tools that they've come out with recently, it's a pretty interesting brand. I would say my kind of personal thoughts on the brand are quite mixed. So they came out about a year and a half ago now, and they kind of set their sights right for the number one spot. And kind of depending on how you look at it, if you've seen some of their introductory videos where they had showing off all the tools, it seems like they set their sights right on Milwaukee Power Tools. And whether or not that's a good thing is kind of up to you to decide. But they had some really mixed reviews when it came out. Things of them cheating when they came to putting the power tools to the test. If you even look up some of the actors they had in that video were actually not real just tradesmen. I can include maybe a link to that in the description below, but one of the plumbers in there was actually a reality TV star who later became a plumber. So there's some kind of funny stuff going on there with what Flex did, and it kind of just sour taste in people's mouths as well too when it came to Flex Power Tools. But let's kind of ignore that for now. We'll talk about the Flex Power Tools themselves. Flex Power Tools are kind of taking sights at the number one position, like I said before, Milwaukee. So they've got some similarities to some of the top brands. One of my favorite things though about Flex Power Tools is their battery design. So I would say, in my opinion, I think Flex Power Tools is really leading pretty much every other brand when it comes to battery design. So they've got a fantastic design with the rubber bumpers on their power tools, kind of here and here, as well as if I hit the battery indicator, which is right here on the front of the battery, I've got on both sides a basically LED indicator that tells me how charged that battery is. That's really cool, having basically two areas that tell how far my battery is charged. Really nice, easy to push button compared to pretty much every other brand. This button is way bigger than every other brand out there. Really easy to push that button, and overall it's a fantastic battery design. This is just their regular 2.5 lithium batteries, but they also have basically their stacked lithium batteries as well too. If you think of like DeWalt Power Stack, it's the same thing, but they've actually got a lot larger than Power Stack batteries. I think they have 3 sizes out now that go up to the 8 amp hour. They do run a bit of money, but there is a kind of an advantage right now. If you buy them before the end of the year, they offer a lifetime warranty on their batteries and tools. Now, take that with a bit of an asterisk there, because it's not actually a full lifetime forever warranty. I think the batteries are like a 3 or 4 replacements they'll give you before that's that warranty is up, and the tools have a certain number of replacements or repairs before they say, okay, that's enough, there's no more warranty on that tool. So it's a lifetime warranty in quotations there. But it is pretty cool. It's not going to be like you just 3-year warranty or a 5-year warranty. As long as you register those power tools at the end of the year, you get that lifetime warranty. Now they are offering a pretty standard, I think it's a 5-year warranty if you don't register, so not a bad deal there from Flex. And it's got some cool stuff. They're really kind of taking aim at the higher end brands right off the bat. Now, I've had some other Flex Power tools. I have had their mid-range impact, their mid-range drill, which I thought were just okay tools for the price. They weren't really anything to be like just amazed at. We did a review on those not too long ago. They performed okay. Nothing out of the ordinary there. I do have their Flex recip saw. This is the one with orbital action. So just like every other saw, you got the orbital on, orbital off. No big deal there. It's a decent size saw. It's not like as big as a Metabo HPT 36 volt. I would say it's very close in size and weight to say the Milwaukee M18 Fuel. It's a good Sawzall. But again, Flex is they're trying to push their way up market. but it'd be cool to see some more, really cool, really unique things from them. Now, I'm not saying they're not doing anything really unique right now. They actually have that inline circular saw, which instead of having the motor mounted on the side of the saw, like right here, it's actually going to be in line with the blade. And it's actually going to be belt driven as well too. So they're doing some pretty interesting things here and there. They just came out with basically their Milwaukee, pack out competitor, which is kind of interesting. Of course, it's not going to be the same size as pack out just yet, but they're kind of taking sites at, like I said before, Milwaukee with a lot of stuff they're doing. I haven't got a chance to even see that in store yet. Kind of curious to see how that performs, how well the build construction is in that as well too. And they're doing a lot of interesting stuff here really fast. Now, one thing that they've kind of got themselves, I would say a little bit in trouble with when it comes to, kind of like the reviewers like myself or just, regular people who use tools is some of the claims they've made. For example, on their website for quite a while, they said that they had the only charger that had a dual fan. Basically, one fan that would push air in and one fan that would push air out. Right around the same time Flex Tools came out, also Makita XGT came out. And if you didn't know, all the XGT chargers are a dual fan as well. So, Flex maybe didn't check into that all the way, understand that, yeah, there's other brands that also have a dual fan. And if you want to, get really technical with it, there's a lot of, dual chargers, rapid chargers out there from other brands, like the Makita dual charger to my right over here that has two fans, but that's two fans for each charger in there. So, Flex has got to be a little careful there with some of their claims, kind of sound better when they're not really maybe doing the research and figuring out, hey, I didn't know that Makita XGT also has a dual fan charger that is super similar to our charger. Now, I'm not saying, the Flex charger has any issues with it. It's a pretty cool charger, actually. I do like how it says, 160 watt charger right on the front. That's nice. It's kind of hard to tell a lot of the other chargers. You gotta kind of look on the back and figure out how much wattage they use to charge. But the Flex is right on the front there. Now, one thing I don't like per se about the charger is it's a little confusing here to read. So it's gonna be, basically if you have the bottom light is green, the top one is flashing red, it's defective. But if you have the bottom light, I think it's flashing green, and then solid red, it's too high of temp. It's just a little confusing compared to everyone else's charger. They just have one light, or maybe two that are the same color and much easier to read. I found this one a little confusing myself to understand exactly what's going on with the charger. But I do like how you would tell that the battery is charging, how far it's charged, is actually the sides will stay lit up the entire time. And so when you've got it slid into the charger like this, it'll actually kind of like fill up like a fuel gauge, which is kind of cool. So as it's charging, it fills back up. Really cool design there by Flex. And of course, Flex seem like they're really trying to innovate and kind of push out new designs with stuff. Like I mentioned with the battery technology they're using, the inline circular saw. I've got a feeling, I'm kind of just going to call it right now, I think Flex is going to do some really cool stuff in the future with some really unique tools that maybe we haven't seen before. Maybe tool companies are they're not thinking in that direction. Maybe it's a bit of more of a risky tool to take on per se, but I think Flex is going to put out some really interesting things here in the future. I'm not saying, the brand is going to be, number one, it's going to dethrone Milwaukee there, but I could see Flex maybe possibly pushing past maybe DeWalt or Makita at times when it comes to maybe certain categories. But time's gonna tell here, guys. Are we gonna see Flex pushing that top three? Because when it comes to Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt, it's pretty well known. Those guys are the top three brands there, kind of leading in kind of the contractor area. Now, can Flex take that over? It's gonna be time's gonna tell here. But when it came to some of that marketing stuff they're trying to pull, it wasn't really a good idea. It's just kind of the stuff they were talking about. Some of the tests you could tell are a little bit rigged. You could tell some of the guys are pushing hard with the Flex tools, while the guys with the non-Flex tools are kind of letting the tool do the work. I'd much rather like to see like how DeWalt and Milwaukee do, where they kind of compare it to their older style tools at times, and show off, hey, this new tool is faster than my older tool. And don't focus on the other brands too much. Let the reviewers, like Project Farm, he does some excellent stuff when it comes to comparing speeds of tools against each other. Let those guys take care of that stuff. Those guys are unbiased. They're not working for one brand or the other. It gets a little, a little cheesy when you have a brand put tests up against other brands, and then they obviously are going to win. It's kind of a given there. They're not going to show where their tool is going to lose against another brand. And once you know that, it doesn't really make you want to watch anything that brand's putting out. I'd rather have them talk about their excellent warranty, their awesome battery technology, and just what they're doing to innovate their power tools. That's kind of what I'd like to see. The only thing I'm a little on the fence with is the color scheme. It's kind of a cool, they got that black, that kind of dark gray, and that white, and then they've also got a little bit of that accent of that kind of lime green in there too. I guess my personal preference, I guess it's kind of just being so used to it, is not having, a bold color in there somewhere. You got the Milwaukee red, the DeWalt yellow. Kind of makes these tools not really stand out too much. I'll give you an example. If you were to walk into, say a pawn shop or a garage sale, and you saw some tools laying on the ground, would you be able to pick out a Flex power tool just by, first glance? Probably not. You can recognize that DeWalt yellow, you can recognize that Makita teal, or that Milwaukee red right away. It's going to catch your eye right away. Whereas, these tools, they might not catch your eye right away. I could see maybe the tools evolving a little bit with the color schemes and, adding some, streaks of green later on as Flex progresses. But again, that's kind of just my thoughts on that. If you like the color scheme, let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious about what everyone think about the color scheme of Flex power tools. But I haven't seen a lot of guys really using Flex at all. It's pretty rare. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with outdoor power tools. If you look at Ego and Cobalt, they've got a good amount of stuff. Pretty much Ego is entirely outdoor power tools. So I'm not really sure if Flex wants to sacrifice anything with Ego to put in Flex power tools. Whereas with Milwaukee, Makita, and DeWalt, they all have basically a nice full complement of outdoor power tools that can run on their regular battery packs. So in my opinion, that's probably going to hold Flex back a little bit, that they don't have a full outdoor power tool selection. And if they do come up with one, is it going to be better, worse, or equal to Ego? I could see where it could kind of be, a little interesting to see if it doesn't necessarily match up with Ego, where they want to have people on both brands. From a homeowner perspective like myself, I wouldn't want that. If I'm going to take some tools with me on a job site, and say I need a little bit of outdoor power tools for one job site, and maybe I need impact and drill for my next job, I don't want to take two brands with me. I don't have to. If I can take just one brand, one battery platform with me, that's what I'm going to do. I can't necessarily see them. This is just me talking here, but it'd be almost really cool if they kind of maybe merged Ego and Flex into just maybe one Flex brand. Would be kind of interesting as well too. Not to say you're sharing the same battery platform, but Ego became Flex, and Flex still has really good contractor grade level of tools, and maybe they could maybe merge some battery platforms here and there. You took the Ego current battery platform, maybe a concrete saw or a larger chainsaw with it. There's a lot of cool things you could do with the Ego battery platform that's really not being utilized just yet. But if you kind of brought the Flex contractor stuff into that, a lot of cool things Flex could do there. So guys, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Flex power tools so far. They're probably the newest tool brand on the scene right now. They've had a bit of a rocky start. It's you can't really deny that too much right now with some of the stuff that they've done with some of their introduction videos so far. But I'm not saying the tools are bad in any way. They've definitely got some really cool stuff. It's kind of one of those things where they kind of need to get past all the kind of the silly stuff they've done. And if they can show, contractors, homeowners that, hey, yeah, we have a really good tool platform, and we're going to bring you guys some really unique stuff. We're going to keep pushing forward. There's a lot of room there to push. If you look at car brands, Tesla kind of came out of nowhere there with a really cool electric car design, and they pushed past Ford, GM, and Ram there. Not to say on a pickup truck level there, but they pushed past there with their electric vehicle past a lot of the other car manufacturers. Now I'm not saying Flex is the new Tesla. But if Flex could pull off something kind of similar to that with some unique designs with some tools, some unique battery designs, and battery technology, they could really make a name for themselves really quick here. And I'm not saying they're going to pull you away from Milwaukee or DeWalt or Makita, but they could find a decent sized portion of your tools moving over to Flex power tools. So guys, that's just kind of my thoughts on Flex power tools so far. I'm kind of waiting to see what else they put out, waiting to see what else to buy from Flex Power Tools. I really want to see some more just unique stuff. Because in Milwaukee, Makita, DeWalt, you can pretty much think of any tool you want, and you're going to find a really good tool from one of those three brands. But I'm really looking for something totally unique from Flex Power Tools. When it comes to, even some of their, impacts and drills, if you didn't know, their top end impact driver is the most powerful impact driver out there in the market at 2,400 inch-pounds. So if you're Milwaukee guys just saying, oh, I got the most powerful one, unfortunately, when Flex came out with their top end impact about a year and a half ago, that is the current most powerful impact driver out there to date. That'll beat even the Milwaukee Gen 3 and Gen 4 at just 2,000 inch-pounds, which is pretty cool to see that, from Flex, with basically come out right out of the gate, and they've got some of the most powerful tools out there. Now, do you need an impact driver with that much power? Well, that's kind of for you to decide, but you're going to be snapping a few bits here and there at that much power. So there's some things to consider there when it comes to that, but if you want the most powerful tool, there's a few tools from Flex now that are actually beating a number of other top brands. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and take care, guys.